Hello, my name is Kathy, and I welcome you to Kids Create. The theme for this month is going to be kindness. So we're going to read some poems about kindness. And the kindest creature I know is named Horton. And so I'm going to read Horton Hears a Whoo by Dr. Seuss. On the 15th of May, in the jungle of Newell, in the heat of the day, in the cool of a pool, he was splashing, enjoying the jungle's great joys, when Horton the Whoo heard a small noise. So Horton stopped splashing. He looked toward the sound. That's funny, thought Horton. There's no one around. Then he heard it again, just a very faint yelp, as if some tiny person was calling for help. I'll help you, said Horton. But who are you? Where? He looked and he looked, but he could see nothing there but a small speck of dust blowing past through the air. I say, muttered Horton, I've never heard tell of a small speck of dust that is able to yell. So you know what I think? Why, I think that there must be someone on top of that small speck of dust, some sort of creature of very small size, too small to be seen by an elephant's eyes. Some poor little person who's shaking with fear that he'll blow in the pool. He has no way to steer. I'll just have to save him because, after all, a person's a person, no matter how small. So gently, using the greatest of care, the elephant stretched his great trunk in the air, and he lifted that dust speck and carried it over and placed it down safe on a very soft clover. Humph, humphed a voice. 'Twas a sour kangaroo, and the young kangaroo in her pouch said humph too. Why, that speck is as small as the head of a pin. A person on that? Why, there never has been. Believe me, said Horton, I tell you sincerely, my ears are quite keen, and I've heard him quite clearly. I know there's a person down there, and once more, quite likely there's two, even three, even four, quite likely. A family for all that we know, a family with children just starting to grow. So please, Horton said, as a favor to me, try not to disturb them. Just please let them be. I think you're a fool, laughed the sour kangaroo, and the young kangaroo in her pouch said, me too. You're the biggest blamed fool in the jungle of Newell, and the kangaroos plunged in the cool of the pool. What terrible splashing, the elephant frowned. I can't let my very small persons get drowned. I've got to protect them. I'm bigger than they. So he plucked up the clover and hustled away. Through the high jungle treetops, the news quickly spread. He talks to a dust speck. He's out of his head. Just look at him walk with that speck on the flower. And Horton walked, worrying, almost an hour. Should I put the speck down? Horton thought with alarm. If I do, these small persons may come to great harm. I can't put it down, and I won't after all. A person's a person, no matter how small. Then Horton stopped walking. The speck voice was talking. The voice was so faint he could barely hear it. Speak up, please, said Horton, and he put his ear near it. My friend, came the voice, you're a very fine friend. You've helped all us folks on this dust speck no end. You've saved all our houses, our ceilings and floors. You've saved all our churches and grocery stores. You mean, Horton gasped, you have buildings down there too? Oh, yes, piped the voice. We most certainly do. I know, called the voice. I'm too small to be seen, but I'm mayor of a town that is friendly and clean. Our buildings to you would seem terribly small, but to us, who aren't big, they are wonderfully tall. My town is called Whoville, for I am a Who. And we Whos are all thankful and grateful to you. And Horton called back to the mayor of the town, you're safe now. Don't worry. I won't let you down. But just as he spoke to the mayor of the speck, 3 big jungle monkeys climbed up Horton's neck. The Wickersham brothers came shouting, what rot! This elephant's talking to Whos, who are not. There aren't any Whos, and they don't have a mayor, and we are going to stop all this nonsense. So there. And they snatched Horton's clover and carried it off to the black-bottomed eagle named Ladimoff, a mighty strong eagle of very swift wing. And they said, will you kindly get rid of this thing? And before the poor elephant could speak, that eagle flew off with a flower in his beak. All that late afternoon and far into the night, that black-bottomed bird flapped his wings in fast flight, while Horton chased after, with groans over stones that tattered his toenails and battered his bones. He begged, please don't harm all my little folks who have just as much right to live as bigger folks do. But far, far beyond him, that eagle kept flapping, and over his shoulder called back, quit your yapping. I'll fly the night through. I'm a bird. I don't mind it. And I'll hide this tomorrow where you'll never find it. And at 6:56 the next morning, he did it. It sure was a terrible place that he hid it. He let that small clover drop somewhere inside of a great patch of clover, 100 miles wide. Find that, sneered the bird, but I think you will fail. And he left with a flip of his black-bottomed tail. I'll find it, cried Horton. I'll find it or bust. I shall find my friends on that small speck of dust. And clover by clover by clover with care, he picked up and searched them and called, are you there? But clover by clover by clover, he found that the one that he sought for was just not around. And by noon, poor old Horton, more dead than alive, had picked, searched, and piled up 9,005. Then on through the afternoon, hour after hour, till he found them at last on the 3 millionth flower. My friend, cried the elephant, tell me, do tell, are you safe? Are you sound? Are you whole? Are you well? From down on that speck came the voice of the mayor. We really had trouble, much more than our share, when that black-bottomed birdie let go and we dropped and landed as so hard that our clocks had all stopped. Our teapots are broken, our rocking chairs smashed, and our bicycle tires all blew up when we crashed. So Horton, please, pleaded the voice of the mayor, will you stick by us, Whos, while we're making repairs? Of course, Horton answered, of course I will stick. I will stick by you small folks through thin and through thick. Humph, humphed a voice. For almost 2 days you run wild and insistent on chatting with persons who've never existed. Such carrying on in our peaceable jungle. We've had quite enough of your bellowing bungle. And I'm here to state, snapped the big kangaroo, that your silly, nonsensical game is all through. And the young kangaroo in the pouch said, "Me too." With the help of the Wickersham brothers and dozens of Wickersham uncles and Wickersham cousins and Wickersham in-laws, whose help I've engaged, you're going to be roped and you're going to be caged. And as for that speck of dust, that we shall boil in a hot steaming kettle of hazelnut oil. Boil it, gasped Horton. Oh, that you can't do. It's all full of persons. They'll prove it to you. Mr. Mayor, Horton called. Mr. Mayor, you've got to prove now that you really are there. So call a big meeting, get everyone out, make every who holler, make every who shout, make every who scream. If you don't, every who is going to end up in a hazelnut stew. And down on that dust speck, the scared little mayor quick called a big meeting in Whoville Town Square. And his people cried loudly, they cried out in fear, "We are here, we are here, we are here, we are here." The elephant smiled. That was clear as a bell. You kangaroos surely heard that very well. All I heard, snapped the big kangaroo, was a breeze and the faint sound of wind through the far distant trees. I heard no small voices, and you didn't either. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, "Me neither." "Grab him," they shouted, and caged the big dope. Lasso his stomach with 10 miles of rope. Tie the knots tight so he'll never shake loose. Then dunk that dumb speck in hazelnut juice. Horton fought back with great vigor and vim, but the Wickersham gang was too many for him. They beat him, they mauled him, they started to haul him into his cage, but he managed to call to the mayor, "Don't give up, I believe in you all. A person's a person, no matter how small. And you very small persons will not have to die if you make yourselves heard. So come on now and try." The mayor grabbed a tom-tom. He started to smack it. And all over Whoville, they whooped up a racket. They rattled tin kettles. They beat on brass pans, on garbage pail tops, and old cranberry cans. They blew on bazookas and blasted great toots on clarinets, oompas, and boompas, and flutes. Great gusts of loud racket rang through the air. They rattled and shook the whole sky, and the mayor called up through the howling and mad hullabaloo, "Hey, Horton, how's this? Is the sound coming through?" And Horton called back, "I can hear you just fine, but the kangaroo's ears aren't as strong quite as mine. They don't hear a thing. Are you sure all your boys are doing their best? Are they all making noise? Are you sure every who down in Whoville is working? Quick, look through your town. Is there anyone shirking?" Through the town rushed the mayor from the east to the west, but everyone seemed to be doing his best. Everyone seemed to be yapping and yipping. Everyone seemed to be beeping and bipping. It wasn't enough, all this ruckus and roar. He had to find someone to help make more. He raced through each building and searched floor to floor. And just as he felt he was getting nowhere and almost about to give up in despair, he suddenly burst through a door, and that mayor discovered one shirker quite hidden away in Fairfax Apartments, apartment 12J. A very small shirker named Jojo was just standing and bouncing a yo-yo, not making a sound, not a yip, not a chirp. And the mayor rushed inside and he grabbed the young twerp and he climbed with the lad up the Ethelberg Tower. "This," cried the mayor, "is your town's darkest hour. The time for all Whoos who have blood that is red to come to the aid of their country, he said. We've got to make noises in greater amounts, so open your mouth, lad, for every voice counts. Thus he spoke as he climbed. When he got to the top, the lad cleared his throat and he shouted out, "Yop!" And that yop, that one small extra yop, put it over. Finally, at last, from the speck of that clover, their voices were heard, and they rang out clear and clean, and the elephant smiled. Do you see what I mean? They've proved they are persons no matter how small, and their world was saved by the smallest of all. How true, yes, how true, said the big kangaroo. And from now on, you know what I'm planning to do? From now on, I'm going to protect them with you. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, Me too. From sun in the summer, from rain when it's fallish, I'm going to protect them, no matter how small. This book is called All of Us, Big and Small, and it's by Kathy Sutton. Me can be we. You can come too. They can be hey. It's all of us. Hearts can unite. Hands can set free. Words can be heard. We can all be. Some pray out loud. Some close their eyes. Some look to earth. Some to the skies. Stars are so far, worlds disappear. Planets flung wide. We all live here. Mountains and streams, deserts and towns, breathtaking sights, remarkable sounds. Some build things up, some create art, some help the earth, some heal the heart. Hands, hearts, and minds, vibrant and strong, different, the same, we all belong. All kinds of kids, thoughtful and free, sometimes in groups, and sometimes just me. So those are books about different kinds of people and beings and being kind. And this one is called Giraffes Can't Dance by Giles Andre. And this tells a story of someone that needs a help from someone nice, but he's teaching him to be kind to himself. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim, but his knees were awfully crooked and his legs were rather thin. He is very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees, but when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. Now, every year in Africa, they hold a jungle dance where every single animal turns out to skip and prance. And this year, when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad because when it came to dancing, he was really rather bad. The warthogs started waltzing and the rhinos rocked and rolled. The lions danced a tango that was elegant and bold. The chimps all did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel, and 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked towards the floor, but the lions saw him coming, and they soon began to roar. Hey, look at clumsy Gerald, the animals all sneered. Giraffes can't dance, you silly food. Oh, Gerald, you're so weird. Gerald simply froze up. He was rooted on the spot. They're right, he thought. I'm useless. Oh, I feel like such a clot. So he crept off from the dance floor and he started walking home. He'd never felt so sad before, so sad and all alone. And then he found a little clearing and he looked up at the sky. The moon can be so beautiful, he whispered with a sigh. Excuse me, coughed a cricket who'd seen Gerald earlier on. But sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song. Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me, the sweetest music are those branches in the breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon is playing just for you, and everything makes music if you really want it to. And with that, the cricket smiled and he picked up his violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hooves had started shuffling, making circles on the ground. His neck was gently swaying and his tail was swishing round. He threw his legs out sideways and he swung them everywhere. Then he did a backward somersault and leapt up in the air. Gerald felt so wonderful, his mouth was open wide. I'm dancing, yes, I'm dancing, I am dancing, Gerald cried. Then one by one, each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him, quite entranced. They shouted, "It's a miracle! We must be in a dream! Gerald's the best dancer that we have ever seen." "How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how." But Gerald simply twirled around and finished with a bow. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. "We all can dance," he said, "when we find music that we love." So, thank you for joining me for Kids Create. And remember to be kind to people around you, and to animals, and to yourself.